What's up, everybody? It's Mike Rat here. Today we're talking about dirty drums and a couple of cool tricks you can use to make sure your drums kind of stick out above the rest with some cool distortion techniques. Let's dive into it. Just start by finding a kick. You can just go to the library all section or your samples folder or any personal folders that you have. And I'm just going to drag the old slider down and find something that I like. Now we're dirtying this up, so I don't necessarily want a dirty one out of the gate. Those are pretty chill. Let's go ahead and grab a snare. Let's grab a couple of snares. Ooh, just a classic 808. We love it. I'm going to put that on D1. You pretty much always want to put your kick on C1. The rest can be up to you, but generally you do kick, then snares, then whatever else you got. So let's find a couple of snare layers. Let's maybe grab a clap. Ooh, that's nice and crispy. Maybe a little finger snap. Great. Maybe a little rim shot. And then I usually like to find a little side snare as well, something to sort of fill in the blank spaces. Let's go ahead and grab some hi-hats. We're just going to need like an open and a closed. Let's use these guys. And cool, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and make a little clip here in a drum rack. And first things first, what I usually tell people is put the kick on the 1 and the snare in the 2 and the 4. But this time what I'm going to tell you is put the kick on the 1 and then hit Command 4 to turn the grid off. And we're going to put our snares in sort of where they want to be. A more realistic approach is going to be kind of just scooting snares in close to where they want to be. I might move a snare or two a little bit early, and then I might take a layer or two like the clap and move it a little bit late. This is going to kind of splay the snare out. As we create one snare throughout a series of layers here, it's going to feel a little bit more spread out and wider in your drums. Let's go ahead and maybe put a snap here, and then what you can even do is you can even take some of these layers we see here where this lines up in a certain way. We might be able to vary it on a second snare, and these are actually going to give both of these snares a different timbre. Let's go ahead and put a rim every once in a while, and maybe a little snare over here. And now let's grab some hats. We're going to do kind of the same thing. I'm going to slow some of these hats down, just so they're a little bit late. They're a little bit sleepy today, and that's okay. And we'll grab a couple of these hats, and we'll just pop them up. You can hold shift to grab a couple of these at the same time. Now let's duplicate this and maybe move some kicks around. I really like scooting this second kick back, moving some noises here and there. Let's put a snare over here maybe, and an extra kick over here, and maybe a final kick over here. Now let's just see what we got. Pretty sick so far. It just needs to get a little treated, right? So we're definitely going to throw in a drum bus later, but the first thing I want to bring your attention to is the chain list over on the left side. This is highly underutilized in the drum rack in general. We actually have a separate send and return section in the drums, which is really powerful because then you can just send any particular drum noise you want to straight to your return. So let's go ahead and start with just a little bit of drum reverb, something really classic like a hybrid reverb. We're going to go to convolution over here, go to made for drums. You could choose something pretty cheeky. Club toilet is kind of funny, but let's use large gated snare right here. And then for drum verb, I really like to pull the decay in pretty tight. I'm saying like less than 500 milliseconds. Pull the size in so it feels like kind of a closer room. That gives us a little bit of immediacy. And turn the dampening up so it kind of feels like that room is treated. Then if you turn shape up, it generally kind of adds to the timbre of the reverb itself. And of course, this is a send, so we want to turn that dry wet up to 100%. Now, let's go ahead and grab a dirty rack. So this can be anything you kind of want it to be, but usually what I recommend here is just a bunch of different types of distortion. So we can grab erosion for a little bit of white noise. Let's push this up to the top right. Turn wide noise on and push the width. We could even grab a little bit of redux if we're feeling real nasty about it, right? Let's put the redux before the erosion, pull the rate down, and then maybe even pull the dry wet of this one down a little bit because we don't want to crunch it too much. And then if you really want to amplify this, you could do something really gross like grab an amplifier, put it behind the erosion and the redux, and maybe switch it over to heavy mode and maybe put the output to dual. The first send, we're just going to grab everything except the kick. And we're going to turn that up for the most part. It can be fairly loud. But then we're going to grab everything, including the kick, and we're going to go over to send B. And I'm just saying, turn this up a little bit. You do not need a lot. A little is going to go a long way here. Look at this. negative 42 dB. This is going to be quite a bit. Let's turn this on and see what we got. Let's solo that send so we can hear what's going on. That just gives us a nice little crunchy layer on top, like a nice little nacho crunch in a cheesy burrito. So then we can go ahead and grab drum bus, right? I told you we were going to do it. We're definitely doing it. We can turn the drive up. A little bit of crunch goes a long way, and this is really going to bring everything home because drum bus already has a bunch of distortion going on as well as compression and limiting, and this is just going to bring the whole thing together. Nasty. So now all we got to do to finish this sucker out is maybe grab a little operator. We're just going to grab a nice little square wave, just a little buddy. Let's turn this filter off, and I'm going to go ahead and grab an auto filter because I generally prefer it a little bit more. We'll do something like pop it in saw down mode, pull this down a little bit, turn the amount up, switch it over to sync mode. Maybe grab a little phaser for some colorization and a saturator to make it a little bit extra crunchy. Turn that drive up, and now we're good to go. Woo! That's nice and tasty. I don't know about you, but if I were doing drums, I would probably have some sort of side rack going on outside of your normal drum reverb to give your drums an extra crunchy bite. It's just going to really help bring your drums out in the mix, especially if you're making nasty bass music and you're already putting distortion on all of your synths. You want to do the same for your drums so they feel like they can compete. All right, well, that's it. My name is Mike Rat with Slam Academy. If you like this video, go ahead and smash the like and subscribe buttons. Leave a comment with your favorite distortion racks below, and if you want to check out more cool content, go over to slamacademy.com, and you can check out our vetted programs with industry professionals. Peace out.